In this video, we're going to take a look at the Marshall Gateway app, which is used with our Code series of amplifiers. So all of the effects and sounds can be controlled with the amplifier itself using the panel, but the purpose of this video is to show you the features of the app itself. So when you connect to your amplifier with Bluetooth, the first thing you get is the preset you're on. So the screen at the moment is showing me that I'm on preset 1, and it's showing me the amp settings, the type of amp being used, the power amp and the cabinet. I can scroll through the presets like so, using the top of the screen, and that allows me to go through each preset one by one. Or if I swipe left on the whole screen, I've actually got a full list of the 100 code presets. So I can select any preset and then I can adjust it. So I can change the amplifier type. So as you can see on this screen, it's showing me all the classic Marshalls we've got in code. So there's the JTM45, DSL, Blues Breakers, etc. There's also some other sounds in there, like the Clean American and the Crunch American, etc. So that's the amp types, that's the amp page. And then if I press the X, I go back to the original screen, and then I can change the power amp type, and it gives me the 4 power amps in there. So there's a classic Marshall 100 watt, vintage Marshall 30 watt, the British Class A and the American Class AB. So that's a really cool feature because it allows you to mix and match sort of different amp configurations. And then third along is the cabinet types. And as we can see there, there's a big selection of Marshall cabinets. So we've got 4x12s, 2x12s and 1x12s, and there's vintage and modern voiced cabinets in there. So once I'm happy with my selection of the amp, power amp and the cabinet type, I can then adjust the amp settings. So I've got the gain, volume, bass, mid or treble, all the standard amp stuff. There's also a noise gate on here, which allows you to sort of cut out any unwanted noise. As well as your regular 3-way EQ, you can scroll along to the third page and adjust the resonance and presence, which is in the power amp section of the app. What this allows you to do is fine tune the high and low frequencies of your sound. Once I've got that right, I can go to the bottom of the screen and start having a play around with the various effects. So the first one is the stomp box type effects, which are the pre-effects, which means they go before the preamp in the signal chain or the virtual signal chain. So again, if I click on the pedal at the top, I've got compressors, distortions, auto wahs, pitch shifters. I can select any of those like so and adjust the settings by scrolling up and down on each dial. For this particular pedal, there's a mode which allows me to scroll between either a governor style overdrive, a standard overdrive or an actual distortion. And to turn those effects on and off, I'll just use the standby icon at the top. And you can see when you're using the effect, it's illuminated, and when it's not on, then it goes dark. Next along, we have the modulation type effects. Okay, so at the moment there's a phaser. I can turn that on and off as before. Also, if I want to change the type of the effect, I click on the pedal itself and it brings up the other options. So again, with this section, in this category, we've got chorus, flanger, phaser and tremolo. I can select any of those effects and it brings up all of the parameters I can adjust for that particular pedal. Next along, we have the delay effects. So again, we've got the 4 dials which adjusts each of our parameters. And again, clicking on the pedal allows me to scroll through the various types of delay in code. So for example, there's a studio, vintage, multi and reverse delay. Once we've selected our delay, you can either press and drag on each parameter, or if you want a particular value, let's say the delay time, instead of trying to drag your finger to a specific number, you can actually double press and you get the keypad where you can key in the exact delay time. This double click feature is available on every parameter within the app. The reverb's working exactly the same way as the delays. We've got 4 types. We've got room, hall, spring and stadium. So I'm going to select spring. I can adjust all the parameters, turn it on and off as before. So once you're happy with your sound, you can store it as a preset. So I'm just going to scroll back to the second page, and it's showing me a red line underneath the preset number. And what that means is I've made an edit and I've got the choice to save the preset if I want to recall that sound. So all I need to do is double click on the name. I can rename the preset, put an artist name in if you want to, or a reference to the track, or a description to the sound. There's various options for sharing the sound too, so SoundCloud and YouTube. And right at the bottom of the screen, it's giving me the option to save to the amplifier itself, which is the far left icon. Well, the next one along is giving me the option to save it to my device. So that will allow me to save to my phone and then walk around with all my favorite presets in my pocket, which means if I go to somebody else's house and they've got a code, I can play all my sounds once connected with the Bluetooth without actually affecting any of that other person's presets. The share icon gives you various ways to share your favorite presets with friends or other players. And the publish icon allows you to upload your presets to the My Marshall platform. The Cloud tab allows you to search and try out other sounds which have been uploaded by code users from around the world. To try out one of the sounds, you simply press the preset, and then if you know you like the sound, you can save it. So we're going to double tap on the name, and then as before, it gives us the option to save it to either the code unit or your own library on your device.